Hi, you're embroidering with Cody, and this was a special request video. And in this video, we're showing you how to bring in sewing stitches over to the embroidery side and stitching them out. And you can create beautiful stitch recipes like this one. And you can incorporate this in any of your projects. We see this a lot when we in purses and in garment sewing, going on either side of your center seams or along the flap of a bag. So we'll go to the machine and I'll show you how this is done. So I've got one already done so you can kind of see what it looks like on the screen, but we're going to recreate everything. So first, let's go select our design. So with most of the machines, we've got all of our decorative stitches already on the sewing side of the machine. So if you have a folder like this one, those are all of your decorative stitches. So we can go and select what we want, and let's start with this folder. So first what I did to create what the sample showed is I selected stitch number, or I forgot which one it was. Oh, number 1. So I select the stitch, but let's also select the hoop that we're going to work with, just because I want to make everything bigger. And I also want to remove my grids. There we go. So I've got this stitch. So what I want to do is I want to create, like we saw on the sample, I want to create a long repeat of this design. So we'll go to our little eye, and we'll go to this icon here with the little butterflies. And here we can see how it reproduces that same stitch over and over and over again. I just want about 10. So you can reduce this down to 10 and then click OK. So now what I want to do, in order for everything to stitch out nice and be able for me to reproduce everything, let's just, and stitch them out in the order I want. So let's take this design and then let's save it. So come here, go to our folder, and let's go and save this stitch. So now I've got it saved. So now let's go and select a whole new design. We're going to retrieve that design later. So we'll come here, go back here, come here, and let's see, and then this design 53. So here he is again. Let's again go and select the large oval hoop, and then let's go and reproduce, just like we did with the other stitch. We only want 10 this time. There we are. Click OK. So now let's save this design. And by saving, it kind of groups and holds it all together. So instead of, because right now, it's, as you can see here, it's treating that as 10 separate designs. We don't want that. We want to treat it as one design. So then we can go and save it, and you've got it saved. So now let's start all over again, because I like for my designs, and I'll show you here, I like for them to stitch out from right to left. So like right now, we've saved this stitch out, and then so now it will be 1. So we'll retrieve this one. Then we'll go and retrieve it again, and we'll mirror image it and line it up. Then we'll go and retrieve the second design that we selected, and then we'll retrieve this one and this one. So for those of your machines that don't have the pattern resequencing, this is how you'll do it. Otherwise, you could use your pattern resequencing, which you could rearrange how the order in which they stitch out. But not every machine has that. So I'm showing this for the machines that you're able to stitch out your decorative stitches in your embroidery, but not have the pattern resequence. So now I've totally forgotten where I was going. Yes, so let's go select a new design, which is the first one that we saved. So be here. So select this. So that's the first design. So we can move that design over just a little bit to make room for the next one. So now we can go retrieve it again, or we can just copy it. So we'll copy that design. And then if you notice, it's going the same direction. So let's mirror image it. So we've mirror imaged the design. So now let's move it over. And so right now it's really difficult to see if we're lining up perfectly. So we can go and zoom in to make our life so much easier, and we can line up and see. So you can see here how everything's going to line up perfect. So let's zoom back out. So now let's go retrieve the next design, which was the second design we created, which were the flowers. So you can see them here, but see how much shorter that is? But it's the same amount of repeats. So let's go and change the size so it lines up with the same length. So we'll come here. So what I did is I changed it proportionally And then once I got a decent size, but still not long enough, I unlocked, like shown in other videos. And now I'm just changing the length. So what we can do, we always zoom in. Because we're dealing with really small designs. So we can see here how we're lining up. So we can even kind of get out of that and move it over some. We can move it down just a hair and just kind of really play with the design. There, almost. Let's see, make it a little longer. Let's see. And just kind of play with it, whatever works good. Yeah. There we go. And each design is going to stitch out differently. So let's go and add more. So I can come here and let's go and add our first design again. So we'll move it over. And we can zoom in just so we can make sure we're lining up how we want. So we can get a little closer. Okay. And then we actually copy that same one to see them again, but let's mirror image it. So we can bring it down. And what we're looking at is just, if you can see, oops, a little too close, is we want to make sure those points match up nice and pretty. And using our multifunctional knobs on the side, we're just fine-tuning how we're working it. There you are. So if you scroll all the way down, you can see your new pattern. And that's pretty much what's stitched out there. All right, so that's how we bring in embroidery, that's how we bring in sewing stitches onto our embroidery sewing machine and stitch them out. All right, happy embroidering.